spiritual approach to aiding those with mental illness and their caretakers. The group has offered a meal to encourage making connections with others and normalization. The group is now a sponsored ministry, a supported ministry of University United Methodist Church, of which I'm proud to be a member. And it is unique in that it meets the needs of a vulnerable portion of the community. As a social worker, I often refer people and family members to this organization. And it's very heartening to see the participants learning to feel valued, accepted, being able to speak before a group, to teach and learn from one another, and to feel more competent and in control of their lives. They have developed behavioral and spiritual contracts that define the quality of relationships with one another. And they've developed written materials and shared their philosophy with other organizations in hope that the program can become a model for other communities. It gives me great pleasure to award the 2014 Organization of the Year to Circle Up. Unfortunately, Mickey Shannon, the founder, is with her husband Bob in Washington, D.C. He is a volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. They're a very philanthropic family, and she was not able to be here. And we've asked one of our longtime volunteers in the program, John Morris, to accept the award and to say a few words.
If we had 50 to 100 Circle Up organizations in the state of Louisiana, Louisiana would be a better place. I cannot tell you how many people come to Circle Up and come in and they sit on the other side of the room. And after they're about 2 or 3 sections, they realize, hey, these people are different. These people, excuse my language, they give a damn. They really care. They mean people that care about them. And we just are so glad to accept this award today and make things known that Circle Up is here for people that have a problem. I tell you, the leader of our group, Mickey Shannon, that couldn't be here, she's a ramrod. She's the expert at this. I'm just one of the helpers, if you want to call it that. And I brought with me today 2 of our board members. I'd like them to stand, Shane Trixel and Elizabeth Riley. 2 awesome people. I tell you, they said they gave me 3 minutes up here. I could talk to you for 30 minutes. But we need more organizations like this. We need people that, like it says in your brochure right here on the front, people matter. You darn right they matter. You wouldn't have the crime and everything else and a lot of other problems in this country if we had more volunteers and more people volunteered for stuff just like this. Thank you so much.
Today is a part of the 2014 annual conference. It is the 3rd largest gathering of social workers in the country. And part of our annual conference each year is to celebrate individual members of the profession and individual elected officials and volunteers who kind of exemplify the core values of the profession. So we just finished an extraordinary celebration of those individuals, from bachelor's level students who are about ready to embark on a wonderful career in social work, all the way through someone who has contributed over 50 years of work within the social work profession. So it's a continuum of giving back to our fellow human beings, of being recognizing that we are sometimes the fabric of our communities, and we kind of help where we can. And we thoroughly believe that all people matter. And that's the theme of the conference this year, that all people matter.
Why do you think social work and what they do is so important to the state?
Well, I think that probably the easiest way to answer that question would be to imagine life in any community without social workers, without those people who engage in the different programs and the different agency works that's being done to make a difference and to meet the challenges that communities face, whether it's with drug addiction, whether it's drug rehab, whether it's dealing with children, with families that are in need of assistance and services, foster care. I mean, you go down the list of all the different agencies that are involved in ministering to the needs of a community, and take a step back and imagine for a moment what the community would be like if there were not those individuals like the social workers to kind of meet that need and to help those people in those situations and to help them recover and to get better and to do better and to live a better quality of life. So I think that the profession of social work is perhaps one of the professions that we have a tendency sometimes to overlook. But if it were not a profession engaged in administering to the needs of our communities would be a lot different, and we as individually would be a lot different as well.
I believe that social work is important because, firstly, it's one of the primary forces or the forefront for helping others, for making sure that the needs of others are met and that they are insured. My specific interest is policy work, so I believe that social work is definitely important in that area because it takes away from things being so primarily focused on funding and monies to using that money to meet the need of everyone.
Why do you feel like this profession is so important?
Because sometimes when we approach our work, we look at the person in their environment. They're not in isolation of where they live, the families that they are attached to, the issues that they are personally facing. So when we work with them, we look at the whole of the individual, not just one little diagnosis at a time. It's been, for me, I've been a social worker for over 40 years, it's been a passion of mine to make sure that the profession itself is understood by the community, that we're not just child welfare, we're a profession that works with people from womb to the tomb. We are working with individuals when they are making some challenging decisions related to newborn children, to working with at-risk youth in juvenile justice. We work in child welfare, we're in the schools, we're working in hospitals and other health care facilities, and we're dealing with families at end of life. So we're part of the fabric of everyone's life and everyone's community, and it is a really passionate profession.
Social workers do a lot of service for Louisiana. They don't only serve people who are below poverty, they also serve people as therapists and counselors in private practice. They work at the school system, and they're just a very service-oriented group.
Social work is so important so people have a life to live that they can be responsible. Being responsible means that you can still go out and get a job. And, you know, there's a lot of problems in jails and places where, you know, people congregate that have problems. And working with people who have problems gives you a lot of heart. You have a big heart sometimes to give back to your community and work with people that have problems. It really it means a lot to somebody like me that's a business owner, that I can give back to my community. And this organization here, NASW, I'm so proud to be here to accept this award this evening.
If you look at many of the root causes of problems that we face across the spectrum of education, law enforcement, economics, all of them at some point and in some way can be connected to social work. And so consequently, our best opportunity as a state and as a citizen, a group of citizens, to improve the quality of life for the population at large and for the individuals that are impacted by a variety of problems. Social work is the cornerstone and the centerpiece of that initiative.
I think social work is such an important asset to this state and the entire nation, because I think that social workers pretty much permeate every area of life and work to increase service availability to individuals, work to alleviate suffering in the world. We basically, if you look at any institution, I feel like the backbone of a lot of what goes on in those institutions and in those organizations is done by social workers. So I think that having individuals who are so compassionate and aware of the need for advocacy for individuals who are being underserved and people who are suffering is so important.
How do you feel about receiving the award today?
I'm very humbled. I'm humbled because as a sheriff who heads a law enforcement agency, many people don't see a direct connection to social work. I will tell them that they're completely wrong. In fact, I would say law enforcement, and many years ago when I was a student at Nichols State University and a young police officer beginning my career, one of my instructors said a police officer is really a social worker with a badge and a gun. And that has stuck with me 30 years later. And in my capacity as sheriff, I have the ability as an elected official to set the policy, to set the philosophical tone, and to allocate the resources in the areas that can do the greatest amount of good to the greatest amount of people. And so we recognize that our efforts directed towards social work have paid greater dividends. I mean, we could walk around all day long arresting people, putting them in jail, locking them up and forgetting about them. But until we see that we need to minister to the needs on a more basic level, to go to the root causes of the issues that cause problems. Some of those issues have to do with early childhood development. Many of them have to do with education. A huge percentage of them have to do with substance abuse and addictions. And of course, another large percentage of them have to do with mental health issues. Those are all issues that we confront on a daily basis. And as people on the front line, who oftentimes are the first ones to get a glimpse of the issues or the problems that may be impacting a family or an individual, our opportunity to either directly impact it through services that we can provide or impact it through a referral and network of people that can service the need gives us a unique and opportunity to do what we should be doing, to fulfill our mission, public safety, to reach out to people, to protect and serve.
I was surprised that I won the state level award. I did not expect that. Delighted but surprised.
I am overjoyed. I was initially very shocked because I didn't anticipate receiving it, but right now I'm just overjoyed. I'm really happy. It's a lot to live up to now. I'm really excited and thrilled about what the future is going to hold from this point.
It is very overwhelming. It's such a humbling and honoring, experience. I feel like there's so many people who I go to school with right now who are just as deserving as I am to be here. So I'm thrilled to be able to represent them, represent my school, LSU, and feel like I just can't. It's an awesome experience to be honored by your peers for something that is such a passion in my life, and so I feel so grateful to be here.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about the experience?
I'm just trying to take it all in and get to know people, get to network, get to start in my profession. I'm really excited.
If anyone had wanted any information about the NASW, where would they go? How would they find that?
They could go to the Louisiana chapter's website. It is www.naswla.org. The national website is www.socialworkers.org.